Hello friends, welcome to video lecture series conducted by Tulsi Ramji Gaikwad Patil, College of Engineering and Technology, NAC accredited with a A plus with a CGPA of 3.3. So in the last lecture we have seen a general definition of the abstract data type. I mean to say what is the application for the abstract data types. But before that, before learning this abstract data type, we should know about the what are the data types. So we might, as we are the IT students, so we might have dealt with the integer, float, character, string, all such primitive data types, or you can also say the built-in data types. But how you can characterize the data types? I mean to say whether this particular number comes under the integer or the floats or any other data types. How one can understand? So to categorize or to differentiate between the integer, floats, and other things, we have categorized the three basic criteria. That is, the first thing, it is a set of the values. Like for the integer, we never ever used a decimal point. Similarly, in the float, the decimal point is very must, like that. Second criteria to differentiate data types, that is a data representation that we already have seen, and the most important, that is a set of the operation. Set of the operation means, like if we are going to take a simple example, like I'm going to take a simple example of this of integer data types, like, right? So what is the syntax for the integer data types? So the syntax is integer, and we are mentioning some variable like a is equal to 2 and semicolon if we are writing a simple C or the C++ program. So here you can say that the integer which is a variable which is comes under the integer data types, it has a value of 2. Okay, if I'm writing the float b, it should be written like 2.0 always. Okay, so this is how the representation change according to the data type. Similarly, if we are using integer type of data types, the set of the operation will comes under like arithmetic. Under the arithmetic, we have the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and the division. In place of the floats, there also we have some arithmetic, all that thing, but we are not able to use the logical operation in case of the floats. So this is how we can differentiate between the different data types like integer and the floats. So if we comes under this, so we were discussing about this data types. So under this data types, we have the primitive that we already has discussed, that is a built-in data types comes under that. So if I want to define the abstract data types, and if I'm using the Google, or you can consider as a Wikipedia, so in the Wikipedia you will find out this classical definition of the abstract data types, that is, it is a mathematical model for the certain class of the data structure that has a similar behavior. Okay, so this is kind of the bookish definition, but if we are using our three basic criteria to define a data types, that is, first is a set of the values which can be applied to the all built-in and the abstract data types. But in this case, if I want to deal with a operation, I need to define a function like push. Like I can take a simple example like a push and bracket, pop, bracket. So to do a certain operation in case of the abstract data type, we have to use a function to do the certain operation. Okay, push, pop we will see in this stack unit, but for that just remind this example, simple example, which is related to abstract data types. Then there is a very well-known website, that is a tech forum for you. Okay, so generally you will find out the various blogs, recent blogs put up by the various industrialists or the IT guys on that. So there they have mentioned the definition of the abstract data types are the mathematical specification of a set of the data and the set of the operation that can be performed on the data Okay, so so actual implementation in case of the abstract data types is not defined at all, and also it doesn't even affect the use of the abstract data types. Okay, so in the simple way, as we have seen the Wikipedia definition as well as this tech forum for you, in the simple word, I can define the abstract data types as a set is a set of the operation. It has a mathematical abstraction and no implementation details I am going to need in case of the abstract data types. So what are the examples under the abstract data types? So lists, sets, graph, stack are the example of the abstract data types, and we are also going to learn the list, graphs and the stack in the lateral units. Okay, so why ADT? The first thing is his modularity. So using the ADT, I can divide like 1000, 10,000 program into the smaller function. It also easy to debug and the maintain. It also easy to modify, and you can also do the group work. You can use this ADT and do some operation only once. It is also very transparent to the any programs. Okay, so again comes to this classification of the data structure, that is a primitive data structure and the non-primitive data structure. It has classified like this. Under the primitive data structure we have the integer, float, character and the pointers. Under the non-primitive we have the linear list and the non-linear list. Okay, linear means after the 0 I am getting indexing as a 1, after the 1 index I am getting the second. Okay, like that. So under the linear list data structure we have the array, linked list, stack and the queue. Under the non-linear data structure we have a graph and the trees. So what are the primitive data structure? So generally if I'm going to say a primitive, it is comes the terms comes in our mind that is called as a built-in. So we have integer type of primitive data structure, floating point number data structure, character constant, string constant and the pointer. Under the non-primitive, it also generally the non-primitive generally emphasize on the structuring of the group of the homogeneous or the heterogeneous data item. They are also derived from the primitive data structure, and this is considered the most sophisticated data type structures. Under this we have already seen, these are the examples, that is a list, stack, queue, tree and the graph. In very details we are going to learn this concept in the lateral units. Okay, so what are the operation we are going to do under the non-primitive data structure? So there are the create, selection, updation, searching, sorting, merging as well as deletion. Okay, so let's start with a basic or